You have waited long enough for it. Here it is, working with color inside CorelDRAW. We'll be talking about working with different types of fills, including fountain fills or gradients, filling with textures, adjusting the outlines on your shapes, and all kinds of different things. So what we'll do in this exercise is I'll get you started working with solid colored fills on your objects, and then we'll kind of take it from there. So before going too far into the world of color, let's kind of recap what we already know, and that is the method that I've already shown you for filling your shapes with color. Now obviously I don't have any shapes on my page at this point, but what I'll do is I'll go and grab my rectangle tool out of the toolbox. You can draw out any shape you want, it doesn't really matter here. So I draw out my shape, I'm going to head back to the toolbox and I'll grab my pick tool right at the top of the toolbox there. And the method that I've already shown you is using your object properties docker. So go ahead and expand your object properties docker over on the right hand side. Now if you don't have your object properties docker available on screen, don't forget you can head to your window menu and then down to dockers, and then it's the very first one there, properties. That's the fella that we're after. Okay. Inside the Object Properties Docker, make sure you're on the first tab there, Fill, and from the Fill Type drop-down menu, make sure to choose Uniform Fill, and that'll give us this solid color fill, right? And of course, inside this Object Properties Docker, I can come into this area here, this window here, and go and choose from one of my color blocks that appears here, right? There's all kinds of them there. But I don't know if you noticed this before or not, but there's actually a scroll bar here, and there's a heck of a lot more color inside here than we can initially see. So there's all sorts of stuff in there that you can monkey around with. Okay, great. So that's one way to go about filling your shapes with solid color. I'm going to show you perhaps an even faster method for filling with color. I'm going to head up to the top of the Object Properties Docker and I'll click on the double-headed arrow to collapse the Docker. And no doubt you eyeballed the sort of the column of color blocks running right down the right-hand side. This is our default color palette. And we'll be talking about color palettes in just a little while, but what I can do with my color palette, if I want to fill a shape with color, is to make sure that that shape is selected with the pick tool, which mine is here, and then all I would do is bring my cursor over top of one of these color blocks and just single click. That's all there is to it. So a much faster way for filling your shapes with color. Once again, we have a scroll bar here. There's actually a scroll down arrow here, so there's a whole heck of a lot of color in here that we can go and choose from. So lots and lots of colors there. So you can scroll down using the down arrow there, or up above the column of colors, we have a scroll up arrow there, so we can scroll up and down to find the colors that we're after. No big deal. We also have this color block here, the white block with the X in it. That means no fill or no color. So click on that guy and that will blow out your fill color there. So kind of cool stuff. And a very fast way, as I say, to fill your shapes with color. Now, let me show you one other thing related to this fella, and then we'll move on. What you can do is click on this item right here, this little arrow here, this left-pointing arrow. Click on that guy, and you now get a flyout for your color palette. So now we can see all of the colors. We don't have to scroll, right? So I can see all of the colors that are now available to me, and I can start using them to start coloring my layouts and my objects and all the rest of it, right? Go ahead and click back inside your document to collapse the color palette. Okay, great, good stuff. Now there's one other method that I want to show you for filling with color, and we'll take a look at that next. To change your